Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. How I survived third pregnancy without irresponsible husband and newborn was Preemie. My so has been a distant partner for years. We have 2 kids at home, and I was pregnant with our third. It's been a very tough pregnancy. Every time I was admitted to the hospital during this pregnancy, he wouldn't come. I drove myself to the ER and drove myself home. I took myself to my doctor appointments. Tuesday of last week at 34 weeks pregnant, I was admitted for high BP but allowed home for 24 hours and told to come back for tests the next evening. Husband had planned to go out of town. I asked him not to go, but he went anyways. Wednesday I was admitted. I told him nothing. I called him Thursday saying he needed to come home. They're going to have to deliver the baby. I'm really sick. He was golfing. He said he would leave that evening. He claimed he fell asleep for 5 hours on the way back in a gas station, but should have made it to the hospital by 1 a.m. that night. Friday, still no husband. He got there maybe 2 hours before the baby was born at 1:38 p.m. and left after. They took my sweet tiny boy away immediately to the NICU, terrifying. I saw so maybe twice while I was in the hospital. He came twice. That's it. He's never been a very supportive partner, so while I was hurt I didn't think more of it. I was in too much shock at all that had transpired. Sunday morning I was in the NICU and couldn't get a hold of him. I checked the monitor and my 18-month-old was still in her crib. He slept in and left her for 3 hours in her crib waiting. I had to call the neighbors to go wake him up. He left the hospital at 12:30 a.m. but apparently didn't go home until about 3 a.m. that night. So I asked to be released home early from the hospital so I could care for my kids at home. That first night home, he left soon after I got home to see the baby in the NICU, or so he said. I woke up at 3 a.m. No husband. No text, no call. Finally got a hold of him. He claimed he slept a bit in his car at the hospital and went to get food. Each night was like that, coming home at 4 a.m. Not responding to texts. Not home during the day. Showering and shaving and working out before the NICU. I just didn't want to believe something was up. Thursday morning he was still asleep, and I went in to try to wake him up, and saw his phone. It was unlocked. I don't know what made me do it. I've never looked at his phone before, but I looked and it was all right there. Texts between him and her. Telling each other I love you, him calling her baby. Him complaining about me asking him to pick up my antibiotics for my kidney infection, or how I had him doing errands. He misses her, can't wait to see her. I woke him up and asked him if at night when he claimed he was at the NICU, if he was with her, and he said yes. I asked him if he was going to keep seeing her or not, and he wouldn't answer me. He claimed he's been miserable the last 8 years of our 11 years of marriage. It's all my fault. I didn't show him I loved him enough. I didn't have sex with him enough. I don't take responsibility or apologize. So I asked him to leave. He packed his things. I assume he is staying with her. I've taken him to couples counseling because I was so unhappy and wanted to make things better. How did he never mention how unhappy he was all those times? I wanted a partner. I wanted someone to be collaborative and kind, and I got shut down for years. But I was okay to tough it out because the idea of breaking up my family was too painful to even consider. I'd met her. She knew everything going on. What kind of person cheats while their pregnant wife is sick and in labor, or uses the NICU as their cover story for spending the night with someone, and what kind of woman is okay with that? She has 4 young kids. She lives less than 2 miles from me. My heart is broken. I know he was never a good partner or parent, but I didn't want this. I tell myself he is doing me a favor in the long run, but I feel like hell. I can't stop crying. I'm scared and sad, and I'll have to tell our 8-year-old, and I just can't even fathom all of the unknowns. My little man is coming home today from the NICU. He just hit 5 pounds. He's a preemie. I'll be a single mom to 3 kids, and I'm so scared. I could manage if I didn't feel so emotionally distraught. I wasn't prepared for baby at all because I thought I had more time. Now I'm scrambling to order diapers and onesies and I don't even know. So wants to come to the hospital and put him in my car, and I'm dreading it. I don't want to see him, but I'm afraid if I'm not amicable he will fight me for the kids. I'm meeting with a divorce attorney on Tuesday. Figuring out how to tell my oldest. He wants to do a therapy session, but I don't think I can sit there and listen to him tell me again how it's my fault, he's leaving and it's too fresh. I don't know. I'm full of panic and anxiety, and I feel like death. My birthday is Wednesday, I'll be 34. I have no family in the state I live in. I don't know who I am anymore. The only silver lining is I am financially stable. I have a good job with a company I've been with for 10 years. I bought our house, both names are on it, but I have documentation proving the funds came from me. I've always kept our finances separate because he isn't good with money. My IRA and savings should stay mine, I hope. He has no retirement, no savings. I believe he has been hiding money, but I figure the attorneys will work that out. Fuck, how is this my life? And how do you survive that impossibly deep, gut-wrenching pain that comes in overwhelming waves, even if you know in the end it's the right thing? Hi all. Thank you so much for the kind words, encouragement, and feedback. Figured I'd provide an update. Met STBXH at the hospital on the day of baby's release from the NICU. Was my first time seeing him since D-Day. He was angry, cold, wedding ring off. I started shaking when I saw him, such an intense visceral response. He helped put baby in my car. We spoke for a moment. He was paranoid, asking if I told the nurse about what was happening because she seemed cold to him. Did I tell our neighbors/friends? Caring more about his image than whether I needed support, which is typical. I explained that yes, I told my friend/neighbor because I can't do this alone. I felt guilty nonetheless. He left, and I took our baby home to meet his sisters. I offered him the opportunity to go to baby's first pediatric appointment, or to take the girls to a birthday party, but he declined, said he was going out of town. I did not hear from him again until my birthday, the 17th of this month, when he decided he wanted to FaceTime our 2 older kids. Of course, he chose my birthday to reach out. He informed me he would be coming to see them for Father's Day and intended to spend the day at our house, all day. As we haven't told our oldest yet what is going on, she thinks he is out of town on business. This meant playing happy family for the day, and I'm ashamed I wasn't strong enough to tell him all day didn't work for me. I'm still even now afraid of making him mad. Sick. I made it through. I suggested he take the girls for donuts the next day so that he wouldn't be in the house while seeing them, and he took our oldest to an orthodontist appointment. He then went out of town again, and has called once on FaceTime to see the girls. He still hasn't offered to drop off diapers, food, nothing. He has simply abandoned his kids. He claims it's too painful to see the kids, but fuck, that's what we do as parents, we man up and put the kids first. I guess for me it's another blessing because I'm seeing how selfish he is again and again. I hurt for the kids, though. He hasn't asked about our new baby, seems to ignore the fact that he even exists. When he was here for Father's Day, I asked if he wanted to change his diaper or feed him so he could have some time with him. He didn't seem interested. I've met with an attorney and meet with another one today. STBX continues to sit on the fence saying he doesn't know what he wants, but I'm not waiting for him. He continues when we do interact to blame me and tell me it would take a monumental effort on my part to prove how much I love him for him to stay. Insanity, gaslighting. He says he cheated because he was sure I was no longer in love with him. He spins it so that it's constantly my fault, and I've been so conditioned by the abuse over the years that my knee-jerk reaction is to apologize and agree. The guilt sits heavily upon my shoulders even though I know it's neither real nor justified. I've attempted to be pretty much no contact with him because when I do engage, I spin out and I've got to be able to stay strong for my kids. He says he has not contacted the AP and is putting that to the side for now to work out what he wants. Whatever. I have no clue if that's true, and it doesn't actually make any difference. I've been meeting with my therapist twice a week, and started working with a trauma therapist as well. So much of my reaction to what has happened and my behavior in engaging with him is related to past trauma, and I'm having a very PTSD response to everything, highly anxious, adrenaline pumping, can't eat, can't settle. I'm very much hopeful that the trauma therapy will help greatly and help me move through this in the healthiest way possible. I lost my father, my secure attachment, suddenly when I was 12, and then my husband, who became my secure attachment regardless of how unhealthy it was. Leaving suddenly has triggered all of that past trauma, which I think is why I felt so horrible mentally that it's been hard to function. My little preemie man is doing great, has gained almost a pound in a little over a week. I'm pumping every 2 hours as he cannot yet nurse due to his age and size, but working with a lactation consultant to get him there. My middle kiddo is just 19 months and is needing mommy 24/7, which has been wonderful but also hard when I have two that both need me in a big way. My oldest has been incredibly helpful, but I also don't want her to stop being a kid and feel like she has to stand in as an adult, so I'm trying to ensure she gets to play as much as possible. She continues to think dad is out of town, which I guess is true for now. I'm lining up a call with a child psychologist to get some guidance on how to approach this, and to ensure I have therapy for her if needed. So I'm still here, taking it 1 second at a time when I feel like I can't breathe and am going to collapse from the grief and sadness, but I'm also seeing more and more who he truly is and understanding why I felt that I couldn't leave all those years, even knowing that how he treated me and the kids was unacceptable. I try not to think farther than an hour ahead. If I start picturing the future, I become so overwhelmed. One thing I find myself struggling with is this ridiculous notion of wanting to take him back simply so that the AP can't have him. I realize he isn't a possession, and that statement makes it sound like he is, but I don't know how else to phrase it. Anyone else had those feelings, and advice on how you handled it? Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.